Hey everyone! Ready to dive deep with us again?
Always excited to explore these fascinating topics.
Today, we're tackling something I think we can all relate to. Mastering your mindset and how it can shape your reality.
Sounds intriguing.
Right. I mean, we've all heard the saying, thoughts become things. But this goes beyond just positive thinking. We're looking at how our minds actually create the world around us.
We've got a ton of interesting material to unpack today, a bunch of notes and a transcribed presentation.
Exactly. And the goal, as always, is to walk away with some actionable takeaways, things you can actually apply to shift your thinking and ultimately your life.
Love it. Where should we start?
Well, the sources all talk about this cyclical process, like a chain reaction. It starts with our thoughts.
Okay, thoughts, then what?
Those thoughts lead to beliefs.
Beliefs, right?
And from those beliefs, we take action.
Makes sense.
And it's those actions that shape our reality. So it all begins with that initial thought.
I see where you're going with this. It's like if you wake up thinking, today is going to be difficult, you're likely to approach the day with a sense of dread. And guess what? You're probably going to find all sorts of things to confirm that belief.
Exactly. But if you wake up thinking today is full of opportunities, your energy shifts. You're more likely to notice those opportunities and take action to seize them.
Powerful stuff. It reminds me of the Henry Ford quote. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Perfect example. Have you ever noticed this playing out in your own life? How our thoughts actually influence our experiences?
Absolutely. I used to struggle with public speaking, like really struggle.
Oh, I can relate to that.
The thought of getting up in front of a crowd would send me into a full-blown panic.
So, what was going on in your head? What were the thoughts fueling that fear?
Well, the main culprit was this deeply ingrained belief. I'm not good at public speaking.
The dreaded limiting belief.
And, the more I focused on that belief, the worse my presentations became. My voice would shake. I'd forget what I wanted to say. It was a disaster.
Sounds like a classic self-fulfilling prophecy.
It totally was. But then I started learning about the power of reprogramming our mindsets. And that's when things started to shift for me.
How did you start to reprogram that negative belief?
Well, the first step was becoming aware of it, paying attention to the thoughts that were popping up before and during presentations, really listening to that inner critic.
So becoming aware of the negative self-talk. But then what? How do you actually change that internal dialogue?
That's where things got really interesting. Once I identified that limiting belief, I'm not good at public speaking, I could start to challenge its validity.
Okay, challenging the belief. How'd you do that?
I started asking myself some tough questions, like, is this really true? Had I always been a terrible public speaker? Not really. Was I prepared for my presentations? Usually, yeah.
So you started to poke holes in that negative belief.
Exactly. And the more I questioned it, the weaker it became. And then I started replacing it with more empowering beliefs. Things like, I can do this. I have valuable knowledge to share.
So you shifted the script, basically.
I did. And I also started focusing on my strengths as a speaker. I reminded myself that I'm passionate about my work and I genuinely enjoy connecting with people.
That's awesome. So by challenging that limiting belief and replacing it with more empowering thoughts, you were able to transform your experience of public speaking.
It's incredible how powerful a simple shift in mindset can be. And the cool thing is, this applies to all areas of life, not just public speaking.
You're so right. It's not about pretending we don't have negative thoughts. It's about learning to manage them and choosing to focus on more empowering beliefs.
And you know what else the sources talk about? This really fascinating concept of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset.
Oh, yeah. The classic fixed versus growth mindset. I remember there was a really helpful table in one of the sources that laid out the key differences.
Right. But I think it would be great to go beyond the textbook definition and explore how these mindsets actually play out in real life.
Totally agree. So let's say you're learning a new skill, something challenging, like playing the guitar.
Okay, learning guitar.
Someone with a fixed mindset might hit a few roadblocks and get discouraged pretty quickly.
Yeah, they might think, I'm just not musically talented, and give up before they even really get started.
Exactly. But someone with a growth mindset, they'd approach those initial struggles differently.
They'd see them as part of the learning process, as opportunities to grow.
Exactly. They might seek out a teacher, commit to practicing regularly, and celebrate those small wins along the way.
Because they understand that mastery takes time, effort, and a whole lot of perseverance.
And it's not just about skills, right? This applies to all areas of life. Think about relationships.
Oh, absolutely. Someone with a fixed mindset might avoid difficult conversations or give up easily when things get tough.
Whereas someone with a growth mindset would see those challenges as opportunities to communicate better, to learn from their mistakes, and to strengthen the relationship.
Exactly. They'd be willing to put in the work to grow both individually and as a couple.
And it's not just romantic relationships either. This applies to friendships, family relationships, even our relationships with ourselves.
So true. It's about approaching all our relationships with a sense of curiosity, resilience, and a belief in our ability to evolve.
This is really making me think about my own mindset. I'm curious, is there an area in your life where you've consciously cultivated a growth mindset?
Hmm, that's a great question. For me, it's been in my writing.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Well, I used to get really discouraged when I received criticism. I take it personally and doubt my abilities as a writer.
I feel that. I think a lot of creatives struggle with that.
It's tough, for sure. But over time, I've learned to view feedback as a gift, as an opportunity to improve my craft.
So you shifted your perspective on criticism.
I did. Now, I actually seek out constructive criticism,
Hmm.
and I find that it helps me grow as a writer.
That's fantastic. It reminds us that even the most successful people are constantly learning and evolving. They don't let setbacks define them. They use them as fuel for growth.
That's the beauty of a growth mindset. It allows us to approach life with a sense of openness and possibility. And speaking of possibilities, the sources also talk about the power of visualization.
Oh, yeah. Visualization. That's always intrigued me. Is there actually a scientific basis for it? Or is it just wishful thinking?
There's actually a lot of research that suggests that visualization can be a powerful tool for achieving our goals.
Really? Tell me more.
Well, our brains have a hard time distinguishing between real and imagined experiences.
Interesting.
So when we vividly imagine something, especially when we engage our emotions and really feel it, our brains start to treat it as if it's actually happening.
So by repeatedly visualizing ourselves achieving a goal, we're essentially priming our brains for success.
Exactly. Think about athletes who use visualization to improve their performance.
Like picturing themselves making that perfect shot or crossing the finish line first.
Precisely. That mental rehearsal can actually translate into real-world results.
So it's not just about creating a mental picture, it's about engaging all our senses and truly believing that the outcome is possible.
That's a great way to put it. And you know what? This connects beautifully with the next topic the sources highlight: gratitude.
Gratitude. I see the connection. Visualization helps us focus on what we want to attract, while gratitude allows us to appreciate what we already have.
Exactly. It's a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of dwelling on what's missing, we start to appreciate all the good that's already present in our lives.
It's like that saying, gratitude turns what we have into enough.
I love that. And the sources suggest a simple yet powerful exercise for cultivating gratitude.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Start each day by writing down a few things you're grateful for.
Just a few things.
Yeah, it could be anything, big or small. A warm cup of coffee, a sunny day, a supportive friend, whatever brings you joy.
Seems simple enough.
It is, but don't be fooled by its simplicity. This practice can have a profound impact on your overall well-being.
I'm definitely going to try that. It's amazing how even small shifts in thinking can create such a ripple effect in our lives.
It really can. And the research actually backs it up. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude can lead to increased happiness, improved relationships, even better physical health.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm definitely going to start incorporating that into my routine. It seems like all these different concepts we've discussed, reprogramming our mindsets, embracing a growth mindset, visualizing success, and practicing gratitude, they all work together, don't they?
Absolutely. It's not about picking and choosing one technique. It's about creating a holistic approach to mindset mastery.
Like having a toolkit filled with different tools for different situations.
Like that, a mindset toolkit.
Right. When we're facing a challenge, we can pull out our growth mindset and see it as an opportunity for learning.
And when we're feeling discouraged, we can practice gratitude to remind ourselves of all the good in our lives.
Exactly. And when we have a specific goal, we can use visualization to create a clear path forward.
It's about finding the right tool for the job and using these techniques to support us on our journey.
Speaking of journeys, the sources emphasize that mastering our mindset is an ongoing process. It's not like we reach a point where we're suddenly immune to negative thoughts or setbacks.
Right. It's not about achieving some kind of perfect state of positivity.
Right.
Negative thoughts are a normal part of the human experience.
It's what we do with those thoughts that matters.
Exactly. The key is to not let them control us. It's like learning to surf. You could get knocked down by waves sometimes.
Oh, I like that analogy.
But the skilled surfer knows how to get back up on the board and ride those waves.
So instead of trying to suppress or ignore negative thoughts, we can learn to observe them, acknowledge them, and then consciously choose to focus on more empowering thoughts.
Precisely. And that's where those mindset tools come in handy. When you notice a limiting belief creeping in, challenge it. When you're feeling stuck, tap into your growth mindset and look for opportunities to learn and grow.
And when you need a boost of positivity, practice gratitude and visualize yourself achieving your goals.
Exactly. It's like we're building mental muscle. The more we practice these techniques, the stronger we become at managing our thoughts and shaping our reality. One thing that really struck me in the sources was the idea that our thoughts actually have a tangible impact on our physical world.
Oh, yeah, the mind-body connection. That's fascinating stuff.
Right. We often think of the mind and body as separate entities, but they're deeply interconnected. Our thoughts and emotions can actually influence our physical health, our energy levels, even our facial expressions.
I remember reading about a study where participants were asked to hold a pencil in their mouths, forcing them to smile. And even though they weren't actually feeling happy, the simple act of smiling led to a decrease in stress levels.
Isn't that amazing? It's a powerful reminder that even small actions can have a ripple effect on our overall well-being.
And it highlights the importance of being mindful of our thoughts and the messages we're sending to our bodies. If we're constantly dwelling on negative thoughts and worries, it's going to take a toll on our physical health.
But on the flip side, if we cultivate a positive mindset, focus on thoughts of gratitude, joy, and love, it can actually boost our immune system, improve our sleep, and even reduce our risk of chronic diseases.
It's like we have this incredible power to heal ourselves from the inside out.
Exactly. And another interesting aspect of this mind-body connection is the role of self-fulfilling prophecies.
Self-fulfilling prophecies. I've heard that term before, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
A self-fulfilling prophecy is basically a belief that comes true because we act as if it's already true.
Okay, so like if someone believes they're going to fail a test, they might not study as hard or might go into the test feeling anxious and defeated. And then because of their negative expectations, they're more likely to actually perform poorly,
Exactly. Their belief creates the outcome.
even though it wasn't necessarily true to begin with.
Right. And the same principle applies to positive beliefs. If someone believes they're capable of achieving something, they're more likely to put in the effort, take the necessary steps to make it happen. Their belief fuels their actions.
And ultimately, their belief becomes their reality.
Exactly. It's like we have this incredible power to shape our own destinies just by choosing to believe in ourselves and our abilities.
This all connects back to what we were discussing earlier about reprogramming our mindsets.
Right. If we can identify and challenge those limiting beliefs, we can start to replace them with more empowering beliefs that support our goals and aspirations.
And as we start to believe in ourselves more, we're more likely to take action, persevere through challenges, and ultimately achieve the things we once thought were impossible.
It's like a chain reaction of positivity. And the best part is, anyone can do this. It's not about having some special talent or ability.
It's about learning and practicing.
Mindset mastery is a skill that can be developed, just like learning to play an instrument or speak a new language. It takes time and effort, but the rewards are well worth it.
Absolutely. And one thing that stood out to me in the sources was the importance of surrounding ourselves with positive influences.
That's huge. The people we spend time with, the books we read, the media we consume, all of these things can have a significant impact on our thoughts and beliefs.
It's like our environment is constantly shaping our minds.
Right. Whether we're aware of it or not. So if we want to cultivate a more positive and empowering mindset, it's essential to be mindful of the influences we're exposing ourselves to.
It's like choosing the right fertilizer for our mental garden.
Love that analogy. If we want to grow beautiful, vibrant flowers, we need to make sure we're giving them the nutrients they need to thrive.
So how do we create a more supportive environment for ourselves? Where do we even begin?
Well, one thing we can do is be more intentional about the people we spend time with.
You mean like, are there people in our lives who drain our energy or bring us down?
Exactly. It might be time to set some boundaries or limit our exposure to those individuals.
And on the flip side, are there people who inspire us? People who challenge us to grow and make us feel good about ourselves?
Yes. Make an effort to cultivate those relationships. Spend more time with those individuals.
It's about being selective about the company we keep and making sure we're surrounding ourselves with people who support our growth and well-being.
Right. And it's not just about people. We can also be more mindful of the media we consume.
Oh, good point. Like, are there certain TV shows, movies, or social media accounts that leave you feeling drained or negative?
Exactly. It might be time to unfollow those accounts or limit your exposure to that type of content.
And instead, seek out books, podcasts, documentaries, or websites that inspire you, teach you something new, or simply make you feel good.
It's about being proactive and making conscious choices about what we're feeding our minds. And another important aspect of creating a supportive environment is taking care of our physical well-being.
Our physical health.
Yes,
Yeah.
our physical and mental health are so interconnected.
hmm
When we're taking care of our bodies, we're also taking care of our minds.
So things like getting enough sleep, eating nutritious foods, and exercising regularly can actually have a positive impact on our mindset.
Absolutely. When we're sleep deprived, we're more likely to feel stressed, irritable, anxious. And when we're not fueling our bodies with the right nutrients, it can impact our energy levels, our mood, even our ability to focus.
And I imagine that when we're not moving our bodies, it can lead to feelings of sluggishness and stagnation, both physically and mentally.
Exactly. So if we want to cultivate a positive and resilient mindset, it's essential to prioritize our physical well-being. It's like laying the foundation for a strong and healthy mental house.
I love that. It's a reminder that mindset mastery isn't just about our thoughts. It's about taking care of ourselves holistically, nurturing our bodies, minds, and spirits.
And as we start to incorporate these practices into our lives, we might notice that our mindset starts to shift.
In what way?
Well, we might find ourselves feeling more optimistic, more resilient, more confident in our ability to handle whatever life throws our way.
It's like we're rewiring our brains to think more positively.
Exactly. And as our mindset shifts, so too does our reality. We start to attract more positive experiences into our lives, and we're better equipped to handle the challenges that come our way.
It's like we're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of positivity and success.
Exactly. And one thing I've noticed in my own life is I've cultivated a more positive and empowering mindset. I've also become more aware of the power of my words.
The power of our words.
Yeah, I've realized that the words we use, both to ourselves and to others, have a powerful impact on our thoughts and emotions. If we're constantly using negative language, it can reinforce those negative beliefs and patterns.
So if we're always putting ourselves down or saying things like, I can't do anything right, it's actually contributing to a negative self-image.
Exactly. It's like we're programming our brains to believe those things are true. But on the flip side, if we start to use more positive and affirming language, it can actually help to shift our mindset.
So instead of saying, I'm so stupid, we might say, I made a mistake, but I'm learning from it.
Exactly. It's about being more mindful of the language we use and choosing words that empower us and support our growth. And it's not just about the words we use to ourselves. The words we use to others can also have a profound impact.
Oh, for sure. Like, there's a big difference between saying, you're so lazy, and saying, hey, I notice you haven't been completing your chores lately. Is there anything I can do to help?
Right. The first statement is accusatory and hurtful, while the second statement is compassionate and solution-oriented.
When we use kind and supportive language, it creates a more positive and harmonious environment for everyone.
Exactly. It's like we're creating a ripple effect of positivity, one word at a time.
I love that, a ripple effect of positivity. And this idea of the power of language, it's not just some new age concept. It's actually supported by ancient wisdom traditions.
That's right. In many spiritual traditions, there's this belief that words have a vibrational frequency.
A vibrational frequency.
Yeah. And that the vibrations we put out into the world through our words can actually attract or repel certain experiences.
So if we're constantly complaining and using negative language, we're actually attracting more negativity into our lives.
And conversely, if we're using positive and uplifting language, we're attracting more positivity and abundance.
Wow. It's like we're creating our own reality with our words.
Exactly. And it makes me think about the importance of being intentional with the language we use, not just in our everyday conversations, but also in our thoughts and self-talk.
So if we want to create a more positive and fulfilling life, it starts with being mindful of the words we're using to shape our reality.
And one of the most powerful tools we have for shifting our mindset and attracting positivity is gratitude.
Gratitude again. I'm sensing a theme here.
It's such a foundational piece. The sources mention that gratitude is more than just a feeling. It's a way of being.
Okay. So it's about cultivating an attitude of appreciation for all the good in our lives.
Exactly. Even amidst the challenges.
So it's not about denying or ignoring the difficult things. It's about choosing to focus on the good even when things are tough.
Precisely. It's about finding the silver lining in every cloud, the lessons in every setback, the blessings in every moment. And you know what? Practicing gratitude can actually rewire our brains to focus on the positive.
Really? How does that work?
Well, there's a lot of research that shows that practicing gratitude can increase activity in the areas of the brain associated with happiness, pleasure, and reward.
So, by consciously focusing on the things we're grateful for, we're training our brains to seek out and appreciate the good in our lives.
Exactly. It's like we're creating a positive feedback loop. The more we practice gratitude, the more we notice the good. And the more we notice the good, the more grateful we feel.
It's a virtuous cycle. So, besides the gratitude journal, are there other ways to cultivate more gratitude in our lives?
Absolutely. The sources also emphasize expressing gratitude to others.
Like actually telling people how much we appreciate them.
Yes, taking the time to thank someone, whether it's for a big favor or just a small act of kindness, can strengthen relationships, boost happiness, and create a more positive and harmonious environment.
It's like we're spreading the love and appreciation around.
Exactly. And you know, what I love about gratitude is that it's available to us in every moment. No matter what's going on in our lives, we can always find something to be grateful for.
Even in the midst of challenges and setbacks.
Especially in those difficult times, gratitude can be the most powerful. When we're feeling overwhelmed, discouraged, taking a moment to focus on the things we're grateful for can help to shift our perspective. It can boost our mood and give us the strength to keep going.
So, gratitude is like a lifeline.
It is. And you know what's fascinating is that gratitude is not just good for our mental and emotional well-being, it's also good for our physical health.
Oh, really? I thought we covered that already.
We talked about the mind-body connection,
Hmm.
but get this. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly tend to have stronger immune systems, lower blood pressure, and better sleep quality.
Wow, that's incredible. Gratitude is good for our hearts, literally.
Exactly. When we're feeling grateful, our bodies release hormones like dopamine and serotonin, which have mood-boosting and stress-reducing effects.
It's like a natural antidepressant and anti-anxiety medication all rolled into one.
And what's even more amazing, gratitude can actually help us to live longer, healthier lives.
Seriously.
Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly tend to live longer than those who don't, and they tend to have fewer health problems as they age.
That's incredible. It really seems like gratitude is the key to a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life.
I couldn't agree more. And you know, what's wonderful about gratitude is that it's a practice that anyone can start, regardless of age, background, circumstances. It's a gift that's available to us all. And the more we practice gratitude, the more we realize it's not just about feeling good, it's about transforming our lives from the inside out.
It's about cultivating a mindset of abundance, joy, appreciation for all the blessings in our lives.
Exactly. And as we start to live from that place of gratitude, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities.
It's like gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
That's beautiful. And, you know, as we come to the end of our deep dive, I'm struck by how interconnected all of these concepts are, reprogramming our mindsets, embracing a growth mindset, visualizing success, practicing gratitude, surrounding ourselves with positive influences.
It's like they're all pieces of the same puzzle.
Exactly. And when we put all these pieces together, we create a powerful foundation for a life filled with joy, purpose, fulfillment.
It's like we're building a masterpiece, one thought, one belief, one action at a time.
That's a beautiful analogy. As we wrap up our conversation, I'm curious, what's resonating most with you from our deep dive today?
That's a good question. You know, for me, it's the idea that we have so much more power than we realize to shape our own reality. It's not about denying the challenges, pretending that everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on the good, cultivating a growth mindset, and using those mindset tools to navigate the ups and downs of life.
That's beautifully said. And for me, what's resonating most is the interconnectedness of everything. Our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, our words, our environment, our physical well-being. It's all connected.
And when we start to understand those connections, we can start to make conscious choices that support our growth and well-being.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of our lives and creating a reality that aligns with our deepest values and aspirations.
It's empowering, right? Knowing that we're not just passive passengers.
Yeah, like we're actually in the driver's seat. Exactly. We have the power to create our own experiences. And, you know, as we keep exploring this whole mindset mastery thing, There's one concept that keeps popping up: mindfulness.
Mindfulness. I feel like that's a bit of a buzzword these days. What does it actually mean in terms of, shaping our reality?
Well, it's all about being present,
Hmm.
paying attention to our thoughts and feelings, but without judgment. And that's where the magic happens. When we're truly mindful, we can start to see those negative thought patterns that might be holding us back.
Like we're shining a light on those subconscious beliefs that are running the show behind the scenes.
Exactly. And once we bring them into our conscious awareness, we can start to challenge them. Choose more empowering thoughts.
So mindfulness isn't about emptying our minds, like some people think.
No, not at all. It's not about stopping thoughts altogether. It's about becoming the observer.
The observer of our thoughts.
Right. It's about creating space between our thoughts and our reactions. So we're not just, reacting automatically to every thought that pops into our heads.
That makes sense. Because so often our initial reactions are based on these old beliefs. Beliefs that might not even be true anymore.
Exactly. With mindfulness, we can hit the pause button, take a breath, and then choose a more helpful response.
So how do we actually become more mindful? I know the sources mention a few practical techniques.
One of the simplest is focusing on our breath.
Our breath.
Yeah. Just taking a few deep breaths, really focusing on the inhale and exhale, can help calm the nervous system, bring us back to the present moment.
It's like a reset button for our minds.
Exactly. And there are other things you can try, like meditation, yoga, even spending time in nature.
Yeah, I can see how those activities could help cultivate more presence and awareness.
Absolutely. And, as we become more mindful, we might start to notice that our overall well-being improves.
In what way?
We might feel less stressed, more focused, more connected to ourselves and the world around us.
It's like mindfulness is the key to a more peaceful and fulfilling life.
It really is. And as we wrap up our deep dive, I'm just struck by how empowering this all is.
Yeah.
Realizing that we have so much more control than we think.
Control over our thoughts, our feelings, our experiences.
Exactly. It's not about being perfect or denying the challenges. It's about cultivating a mindset that supports our growth, that empowers us to navigate the ups and downs, and to create a life that aligns with our values.
It's about becoming the conscious architects of our own reality.
I love that. So well said. And as we conclude our conversation, I just want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, what's that?
Remember, this mindset mastery thing, it's a journey. It's not a destination.
So true.
There will be times when you fall back into old patterns. There will be days when it's hard to feel grateful, optimistic, and that's okay.
We're all human.
Exactly. Be kind to yourself. Keep practicing those mindset tools and trust that you're evolving, growing.
You've got this.
You do. It's been a pleasure diving deep with you today.
Likewise. And to our listeners, I hope you're feeling inspired, empowered to start shaping your reality in a more positive and fulfilling way.
That's what it's all about. Remember, the power to create the life you want lies within you. Until next time, keep those thoughts positive and keep diving deep.